Oh, welcome back to Bakchi's kitchen, cooking the European dishes here. I'm going to make stuffed cabbage today. Now the stuffed cabbage, you got to start at least 8 hours before because the cabbage has to get cut like this. You cut out the center of the core. Just be careful, don't cut your fingers. It's hard to cut out, but you must cut that out because it's very tough and you don't want that part. Then you're going to put it in a bowl of water, upside down, like that. And then you're going to cover it with water. As much water that could come in because you don't want it overflowing. Like that. And then we're going to cover it with a saran wrap. Because we have to put it in the microwave for at least 12 minutes. You don't do nothing to it, just keep it in the microwave for about 12 minutes and that will loosen and soften all of that there cabbage for you because you need the cabbage to be soft so you can roll it when you're making stuffed cabbage. So okay, we're going to put this in the microwave now for 12 minutes. Okay, the cabbage is nice and hot, so be careful. I'm going to put it on a cutting board, and there's all excess water in there. We spill that out. Be careful because it's hot water. Now, the cabbage may be hot, so be careful. What we want to do is separate these leaves. See how these leaves are? That's what we want. We want leaves like that. And we want to get all the leaves possible and then let them cool off nicely because that way they'll be ready for rolling. See, you can roll it now. You could roll it nice and easy and there won't be no problem of the meat falling out. Okay, the cabbage leaves are nice and cooled off so we could handle them. See, we could handle them nicely. Now, out of that 2.5 pound cabbage head, I got quite a bit of cabbage leaves. So, I would say roughly there's around, we can make around 25 stuffed cabbage with that. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take the half an onion that I said in the recipe. I'm going to cut that up. And we're going to put it right into this blender here with around 4 to 6 nice crispy bacon. Put that in there. And I did saute some onion to give it more flavor. Around a half an onion I sauteed, so just put a little bit of the sauteed onion in there. And now we're just going to put it in the blender here and we're going to chop it up. Okay, we're going to take that 1.5 pounds of chopped meat I got here. This is an extra lean one, so if you're looking for a nice non-greasy chopped meat, get the 95% less fat, which is better for you, or whatever kind of chopped meat you want. You could also use the meatloaf too, the meatloaf mix they have. You're going to put in the rice, the 2 cups of rice with that chopped meat. We're going to take this here that I blended here, and we're going to put it right into this chopped meat mix. This is the onions and bacon and garlic mix here. So we're going to take that and we're just going to work it in with our hands. And we're just going to work it in that way. Okay, we got this all mixed up. We got the rice, we got the chopped meat and all the seasoning. Now we're going to add maybe around 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Now keep it nice and moist and give it a better flavor. I'm going to mix it all up again and get it right through the whole meat system here. And then we're going to take a leaf. And this is the part you got to watch because this is how you roll them. Just take a little bit of, like you would meatballs. We'll just take a little bit of this chopped meat mix. put it right in the end here, see it? And then you got the one side and the other side. And you're just gonna roll it over. And you got your cabbage, stuffed cabbage. Watch how I do it now. Take a good chunk of the chopped meat mix. Put it in the center. Take one side and the other side. And just roll it over. There you go. We'll do it again. We'll do it with a bigger one. That way you could see it better. Here we go. Just take some chopped meat mix. Put it in the top, right there. Right on the top. Fold this side. Fold this side. And roll it over. Okay, now we're going to put the cabbage right into the pot to cook. Now see this, the leaf where it ends, the leaf ends? You want that right at the end here, right close to the pot so the meat doesn't fall out. You see what I'm talking about? The meat is, the end of the cabbage leaf is right there, so you want it to go close to the other one. You're hugging the other one with the end of the cabbage leaf. The cabbage leaf, see it? It has to go right to the end, hugging the other cabbage. And you do that right around. Here's the cabbage leaf. And just keep going around and around, tight as you could. Because you want them tight in there. You don't want them loose in there. See, the cabbage leaf is here. Just keep going around and around and keep going. Keep going around. I'll try to do as quick as possible. Around. Well, I think we got quite a bit of cabbage, stuffed cabbage here. Like I said, out of that 2.5 pounds and 1.5 pounds of chopped meat and 2 cups of rice, we got an awful lot of cabbage rolls here. So this is nice if you're going to have a nice company over. Just make these stuffed cabbages and make some potato salad and a salad, and you're all set for entertaining. See how I'm pushing it in here? I'm pushing it so it stays nice and hug. Gotta hug them all and squeeze them. Just squeeze them real good so you have them good and tight in there. Now these leftovers, we're going to put them across somehow because we don't want them to open up either. So we're going to hug them around. Hug them with the other batch. See how they're hugging each other? That's how you do it. You just hug them around. And if you got a space here, just take that extra cabbage that you have left over and fill that hole in there. Fill that hole so there's no room for these cabbage heads, for these stuffed cabbages to move. You don't want them to move because that will make a disaster for you. They'll open up and you'll have the stuffing outside instead of inside. So we're going to take this big can of tomato sauce. I'm going to put it right into this nice big bowl. I'm going to add a 1/2 can of cold water, add it right into that tomato sauce. Then we're going to take our small can of sauerkraut, just a small can, because you don't want it to be too sour. Actually, you don't even need the whole can. Now we're going to rinse this cabbage because we don't want it too sour. See, I'm rinsing it in my hand. Rinse it nice. We don't want it too sour. We want it sweet and sour, but not over sour. Put it right in there with that tomato sauce. Now we're going to mix this up again nicely. Like that. That's all mixed up. Now we're going to pour it right over these stuffed cabbages. There you go. And what we're going to do, we're going to take some of this bacon that I had fried up. You got to fry these bacons up previously, way before you think of making this here dish. Fry your bacon and do your rice and your cabbage, and that way you're ahead of the game, because you don't want to cook with hot stuff. You won't be able to handle it too much. So just add this bacon on top. That gives it a nice flavor. Then we're going to put it on top of the stove. And we're going to let this come to a boil. Once it boils, we're going to lower the flame to around number 3. That's like a medium. At number 3, it should simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, so now you wait for an hour and a half to maybe even 2 hours, because cabbage takes quite a while to nicely cook up. You want it nice and tender. You don't want to fight it. You want to cut it nice and it slides into your mouth. So that's how you make stuffed cabbage, or golabki in Polish. Okay, now it's starting to boil, so I'm lowering the flame down to number 3. We just want it to simmer. We don't want that boiling, because you'll have a disaster. It'll be all over the stove. You'll have a mess to clean, and it will make it nice and evenly cooked. So we'll let it simmer for a good 2 hours. Hour and a half to 2 hours. On number 4 on the stove. That would be just simmering. It wouldn't be like you're boiling it. Don't boil it. Okay, now the stuffed cabbage is all ready. It's hot. It's still quite hot. Now this is the thing that you have to be careful when you take this stuffed cabbage out, because you don't want to bust them and break them apart, because then they're not a stuffed cabbage no more. So just gradually take them out. There it is. Put them into your serving dish. This is how, see how I layered them all around? Well, break that layer. Be careful. Break that layer. Very carefully. You don't want to break. You don't want to cut them in half. Break the layer, and here you go. Now you could take layer by, see how easy it is to take them out after you break that layer? Just scoop them out. Nice and easy. 2.5 pound cabbage head, so we got, so we'll count it. That's 6. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We got 25 stuffed cabbage out of 2.5 pound cabbage head. So now that is your cabbage. So here you go. Bon appetit.